Welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today we get all the details about this year's annual Porch Fest Quincy music celebrations coming up later on this month. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, some hazy sunshine out there. It's 72 degrees right now. Today will turn out partly cloudy. There's just a slight chance of a shower this afternoon. Otherwise, pretty warm with highs this afternoon into the low 80s. Cloudy this evening and maybe some patchy fog. A low tonight around 60. Kind of a split weekend. I think tomorrow definitely the better of the 2 days with some sunshine. Just a few high thin clouds tomorrow. Less humid and cooler too, with highs tomorrow only into the mid 70s. Sunday looks a little unsettled, especially in the morning hours. Could be some showers around, then clouds for a lot of the day with high Sunday into the mid 70s, and then turning nice, of course, again on Monday. Just a few clouds and comfortable temperatures in the mid 70s. Again, some hazy sunshine, 72 degrees in Quincy right now. Checking out news for you today, the Quincy City Council's Finance Committee this week approved a salary increase for the mayor. Officials voted 7-1 in favor of increasing the mayor's annual pay from about $150,000 to $285,000. The issue has drawn criticism from some who said the 79% increase is too high. Mayor Thomas Koch says he feels much of that criticism was personal rather than professional.
If you lowered the salary, they would say you didn't lower it enough. I mean, they're never going to be totally happy. And I understand that. There's people that have never voted for me, will never vote for me, despise me for whatever reason, and that would never support a raise. And that'd be true of anybody sitting there. So it's always awkward. And I know that, the average person doesn't think highly of necessarily public employees, public officials. And so I get all of those. Those dynamics that go into, timing of things. But it just felt like it was long overdue. And I know that at some point in the future, it's probably going to be 5 or 10 years out again before it happens, because that's what will happen. I predict that. Maybe someday there'll be an attempt to tackle it legislatively and change the charter and adopt certain laws for it. Maybe that'll happen someday, but I doubt it.
Koch made the salary recommendation based on a consultant's report that suggested the mayoral pay should be between $298,000 and $370,000 per year. Ward 5 Councilor Dan Minton voted against the increase, suggesting that the mayoral salary should be $230,000 per year. The full City Council is expected to vote on the salary increase on June 17th. The mayor is also recommending City Councilors' annual salary increase from about $30,000 to $47,500. Council has yet to vote on that proposal. Finance Committee of the City Council did complete its review of the $424 million fiscal 2025 budget this week. That includes a $142.5 million budget for the Quincy Public Schools. Superintendent Kevin Mulvey said that the new Rick DeChristofaro Early Learning Center will likely become a model for similar facilities across the state.
But in addition to the investment in our students, in our families, in making life more easy for our families and giving our students an excellent education at the RDLC, there's also the financial investment that's being made as well. We have at the moment probably 40 to 50 families who would normally be placed in an out-of-district placement, requiring transportation, requiring a school outside of Quincy. These families are now electing to stay in Quincy because they've done the tours of the RDLC. They've seen that this facility is a state-of-the-art facility, and they're so happy that Quincy is doing this for their families. They're staying, and we won't be paying necessarily the $80,000 to $100,000 per student in out-of-district placement. So you can do the math. If we have 50 students at $100,000 a student, it's $5 million.
Now, this year's school budget is up $7.8 million. A large part of that is dedicated to negotiated salary increases. Full City Council is expected to vote on the new budget on June 17th. Some traffic pattern changes to a busy Quincy Point intersection are designed to improve safety Ward 2 City Councilor Richard Ashe says the intersection of Main and Sumner Streets is now a four-way stop. Ashe says residents have been complaining for years about speeding and cut-through traffic in that area, so he asked the traffic department to remove the traffic signal and install 4 stop signs, plus that flashing red beacon. Ashe said the changes are designed to improve safety for both motorists and pedestrians. There are 7 new police officers on the Quincy force earlier this week. The 7 new officers were sworn in during a ceremony in the Great Hall at Quincy City Hall. Chief Mark Kennedy thanked the city for its support of his departments.
And we're one of the few departments that's going to be fully staffed with your addition. We're fully funded, we're well equipped, we're well trained, and the city really puts a value into our training, and we get our bang for our buck here in Quincy. Last year we responded to over 60,000 calls for service, placed over 1,100 people in physical custody, and used force in 0.97 of those instances to take 1,100 people into custody. So the national average for injuries from arrest is about 15%. Here in Quincy, under 1%. And I think that speaks to the training and the commitment and the rigors we go through in these background investigations to get the right candidates.
Officer Mark Gibbons transferred from the Braintree Police Department. Officer Patrick Ward transferred from the Canton Police. They'll undergo some brief field training before beginning patrol duties. Officers Thomas Lester, Thomas Ridge, Christian DeGrandis, Bruno Borges, and Sean O'Brien will begin 6 months of training at the Police Academy in Randolph this coming Monday. The new officers bring the number of patrol officers in Quincy to a full complement of 180. The annual Quincy Police Officers Memorial Sunday service was held this past Sunday at the Police Officers Memorial at Mount Wollaston Cemetery. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch said the city remains committed to ensuring public safety is a top priority.
Chief, you talked about, how lucky we are where we live and the lack of violence, and we deal with crime, but it's not by accident. It's the commitment the city makes. It's the commitment each of you make each and every day on the street, keeping us safe. There is evil in this world, there's no doubt about it. And if we allow it to take root, we can see what happens when we've seen some of the inner cities across this country. Literally lost neighborhoods due to that. How blessed we are to have you so well educated, so well trained, you serve with fidelity, you show compassion for people. I'm just grateful, and I speak on behalf of my colleagues in government, for the work each of you do each and every day. It was said last year 378 officers were shot in the line of duty. 46 of them died. 115 were ambushed. We have to keep our guard up. We have to continue to be supportive of law enforcement because you are that line between good and evil.
Each year that ceremony is held to honor Quincy police officers, current or retired, who have died over the past 5 years. This coming Sunday, the Quincy Fire Department will hold their Firefighters Memorial Service at the Firefighters Monument at Mount Wollaston Cemetery at 9 a.m. In the event of rain, that ceremony will be held at Fire Headquarters on Quincy Avenue. It's our look at news for you today. Coming up, we get all the details about Porch Fest Quincy this year. That's next. Welcome back. Last Saturday in June here in Quincy means Porch Fest Quincy Music Celebration. This year is no different, and the two guys who have become synonymous with Porch Fest here in Quincy are joining us. Welcome Ian Kane and Walter Hubele. Gentlemen.
Hi, Joe.
Good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Yeah, must be June. Must be time to talk Porch Fest.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
It absolutely is that time of year. Seventh, should I say annual? 7th annual? Because did we miss the pandemic year?
One.
Yeah.
We missed 2020. Yeah, the year that wasn't. But 2017, Ian, is the first year.
16.
16.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 16. Because it was just after I first ran for city council in 15, and Walter and I had started talking about it at that time.
Yeah.
And it was a little tight on the schedule, but as the story goes, we sat down at Walter's dining room table and Well, we had a long conversation about how do we get people out of their houses and engaging more,
Yeah.
right?
Because you're neighbors in Wollaston, basically, right? At that.
Yeah, at that time, yeah. I was with my folks, and he was
Yeah.
around the corner. But
Right.
you know, how can we get people out of their homes and into each other's lives? And I'd been to a Porch Fest in Somerville, I think in 2014, and it was just great. I mean, you saw hundreds of people out and all gathering together around music. There was great energy, excitement, and it was just fun. So we put together a short model. We thought we'd get 10 to 20 performers at a couple locations in Wollaston Hill and Montclair. And you know, little did we know that it would gain such traction, and there were multiple parts of the city that would be interested. And I think the first year we had upwards of 80.
Wow.
Yeah, we had 74
Yeah.
performances in the first year.
First year.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 40 some odd locations.
When you had, like, what, 2 months to put it together or something like that, right? Astounding.
Yeah.
And it has not slowed down. It really has just grown by leaps and bounds since then, right?
No, it's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the nice thing about it is that people look forward to it.
Yeah.
It's now sort of an annuity, a great Quincy holiday. You know, we like to hope to elevate it to the level of our Flag Day.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
ceremony. Yeah, you know, Flag Day's a thing that you grow up with in
Yeah.
Quincy and you look forward to on a yearly basis, and it's just the ceremony and the parade and everything about it's just so special.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Yeah.
now, similarly, people plan their afternoon barbecues and cookouts and invite family to come join them to walk around their neighborhoods to hear music and
Yep.
to enjoy company.
Saturday, June 29th, 3 to 9 p.m., Marymount, Wollaston Hill, and Squantum, which is pretty static for the past few years, right? Those are the three neighborhoods that you focused on. I know we
Yeah.
had talked at one point about expanding it a little further, maybe out to Quincy Point or Germantown, but that has not come to fruition just yet, Walter, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a number of inquiries about, you know, how to bring it out to different parts of the city.
Yeah.
We really put it where we saw the most organic interest in it, where
Yep.
we got the most requests for the event. And, you know, there isn't, of course, an unlimited amount of bands available to
Right.
donate their time. So in order to make sure that all of our bands have a good audience in front of them, because they're giving of their time and talents, we decided to kind of keep it a little bit contained into where we saw the most interest. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of where it's been.
Okay, so let's get some of the details, if we can, Walter, about how many bands so far, how many porches so far, what's
Yeah,
left
sure.
to be done.
So in each neighborhood, we average about 15 or so porches per year, and then we get about 30 or so bands in each neighborhood.
Wow.
Right now, we're on track. I haven't done a recent count, but we're probably just over 100 bands already registered, and there'll be some cancellations, but that'll shake out to be
Yeah.
about 110, 120 bands like
Okay.
we do each year.
A lot of repeats, I'm assuming,
Oh, yeah.
over the years? Yeah.
Yeah, if I were to guesstimate, I would say maybe 60 to 70% are returning bands.
Is
and,
that right?
Yeah.
So that's when you know you've hit the nail on the head, if they want to come back and do it again.
Yeah, we get emails from both the bands and the porch hosts saying, "Hey, we loved doing this last year. We'd love to bring the same bands back." And sometimes we mix it up, but we often just follow through on what they're interested in doing.
Yeah, and do they stick to the same locations pretty much? I mean, if, you're getting to a schedule now where folks know where
Yeah.
to go when to see who.
And I'll tell you, that definitely makes it easier for the people attending again
Yes.
to know kind of where the layout is, and
Yeah.
it also makes it much easier for our organizers because they've already worked with the bands and the porch host
Yeah.
before, and it's just easier to coordinate. So
Yep,
yeah.
they know the little nuances that they
Yeah.
require for their performance, or vice versa, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the spectators, the fans know where to go to see their favorite band.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a win-win-win. Really, it really is. When you think about it, it's so you've got the city is winning, right?
Yep.
You've got the bands are winning,
Mm-hmm.
and the audience is winning.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what's bad about it?
And everybody's contributing,
Right, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So, it's an all-volunteer effort. The bands aren't being compensated. The hosts aren't being compensated. And, everyone's giving their time for people to come and enjoy. So that's the best part of it.
And two, the city, past 7 years, has grown exponentially, really, with new arrivals. Are you hearing, anecdotally at least, that maybe it's bringing new arrivals to the city together in a way that they might not have in the past?
That it's improving economic situations in Quincy. I'd love to be able to
I don't know about that.
draw
but
connections to that.
Certainly social connections,
Yeah.
at least.
I absolutely think social connections.
Yeah.
100%. I think that was, if that was the original intent,
Right.
then that goal has been met.
Yeah.
even as we talk to new families who've moved to the city from elsewhere, they've either had attended a Porch Fest before they came to Quincy, or now invite their families who live elsewhere to come and enjoy. But certainly a benefit.
Yeah, and I would think too that folks who are coming from other more urban metropolitan areas are used to events like outdoor music festivals, and are looking for things like that, where in the past Quincy has not had such things. It's been kind of a more small suburban type community, so it's kind of coming into its own with these types of events. Just had the Pride Festival not too long ago, the Multicultural Festival as well, first one. So things like that I think they're looking for.
When you think of other music festivals, Levitate down in Marshfield and Boston Calling in the city, but you're paying for those. You're paying a pretty penny to attend those. So
absolutely.
That's why this is nice. And actually, there's been some sort of interesting compliments to what the Free Jacks have been doing at the stadium. With music and kind of different types of festivals. But all adds to, again, a greater profile for the city.
Well, the Friends of Ruth Thornton Amphitheater have a huge program lined up this year for their Friends in the Park. We've got Saturdays in the Park on Wollaston Hill coming up later on this year as well.
Yeah, I'd like to say that Porch Fest sort of function like a catalyst for live music outdoors.
Yes,
I'll make that claim. Because until we did what we did, there really wasn't a lot of that going on, and now it's great to see Friends of Ruth Gordon putting a great program together last year as well as this year.
Yeah.
And then the Free Jacks coming in and embracing live music as an accompaniment to their programming.
Right.
So all good stuff.
Yeah, and the city itself has their
and the Hancock Adams Green
events as well. So there's always seems something going on.
I think people saw that it's a really
it works.
People are interested in it.
Yeah. Well, there is a thriving local music scene, right, Walter, that you've been connected with for quite a while, even before Porch Fest got started.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Patty Barry's always been a great live venue. A lot of places are having a lot more live music. I think it's part of the mosaic of what makes our city great.
So we can talk a little bit about logistics of that actual day. Again, Saturday, June 29th, 3 to 9 p.m. How does Porch Fest Quincy work?
All right. Well, we have a website.
Yes.
And social media.
Yes.
And that's a good place to start if someone's new and trying to acquaint themselves with Porch Fest. About a week to 5 days before the event, we will publish the schedule.
Okay.
We will publish 3 PDFs, which will have each neighborhood's map and schedule on it. And then on the website, there'll be a Google map that will also allow you to, in real time on your phone, just figure out where you are and where the bands are playing and when they're playing.
Okay.
And so you show up to any one of the 3 neighborhoods at 3 o'clock and just enjoy the music, walk around. In a few of the locations, there'll be some food options, and just spend the day and get to meet people and explore new music that you might not otherwise have a chance to see.
Yeah, will you be able to see on that map what kind of music that band will be performing?
Not so much on the printed map,
right.
but on the online map. We will have an indication of what the genre is for the music, as well as some links to some of their online content.
Oh, good.
So ahead of the event, you can familiarize yourself with some of the music and so forth.
Yeah, just thinking if you're not aware of a particular band or what type of music that they perform. If you wanted to take in classical and you ended up at country or something, or vice versa.
But that could be part of the fun, right?
Well,
just
true.
Show up and explore something new, right? You never quite know what you might enjoy and who you might meet.
Do the bands take requests during their performances from the audience?
I don't know that I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen that.
A couple might.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've seen it either.
Yeah.
I could think of a couple that would.
Okay. But might be something for the next year.
Right.
So now, logistically, in terms of street closures, do we have to worry about any of that?
So the Porch Fest team doesn't necessarily close down streets, but some of the neighbors in the neighborhood, on their own, file for some it's called block party permits.
Yes.
And that's to create a space in the neighborhood for the kids to just be able to run around and ride their bikes around. So there are a few street closures that you'd want to look for. The only known ones we have are Warren Ave. On Wollaston Hill, there's Warren Ave in Winthrop, and there's 1 or 2 in Marymount, and I think a couple in Squantum as well.
Okay. And then We have to talk about facilities, if those will be available.
Sure, yep, there'll be
It's a long day, 6 hours.
Yes, centrally located porta potties throughout the
Okay.
performance areas, yes.
All right.
And those will also be on the map as well.
Oh, okay, very good. Is it designed to kind of walk the route, the venues? Is that
Yeah,
the best way?
we try to keep the porches close, but not too close,
Yeah.
so that they're kind
Not
of
interfering,
overlapping
right,
with each
yeah.
other, and so that it's within a walkable distance, so that you can catch different parts of different performances
Right.
when you're in a single neighborhood,
Yeah.
and so that there's a critical mass of people there to listen to the bands.
Do you have any sense for about how many folks participate every year? Spectators.
I mean, it's difficult because it's not a ticketed
I
event,
know, right,
but
yeah.
I can tell you that on the day of the event last year, 11,000 people downloaded the PDF schedule.
On the day.
On the day.
Really?
Well, sorry, the day before and during the day.
11,000 people.
Individual
Downloads.
clicks in
Okay.
to download the schedules. And so you could take that and extrapolate from there. A lot of people use their phone. A lot of people don't even download the schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, I would ballpark it in the 15,000 range.
Wow, that's amazing. Ian, can we talk a little bit about the folks behind Porch Fest? Walter mentioned the team, so is looking at the team here?
Yeah, there's been people who've jumped on the squad over the years
Okay.
who've been awesome, who run point. Kathy Hubley, school committee member, and obviously Walter's wife,
Yes.
has been instrumental in this program as well for many years since its inception.
Yeah.
She runs point on Wollaston Hill. In Marymount, we've got Bill Lebo, and we have Stacy LeMay out in Squantum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this year we have 2 additional team members that have actually recent move-ins over the past couple of years,
See,
Stephen
yeah.
and Savannah Balkan up in Wollaston Hill. So I think Kathy's kind of getting them up to speed on how to be the point people for that neighborhood.
Excellent,
to
yeah.
just get a bigger bench and a little lighter work for each person.
Right,
So,
yeah. I think it's important to recognize these folks because, as you say, they're donating. their
yeah,
time and
absolutely.
talents.
They've hosted for the past couple of years, and I don't want to speak for them, but
Yep.
they have told us that this was a great way for them to meet their neighbors that they otherwise hadn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can live in an area and walk by someone's house 1,000 times, but never really have that conversational opportunity.
Yeah.
And Porch Fest creates that opportunity.
It's an icebreaker.
It's a common denominator,
Yeah.
right? Music and food.
Oh yeah.
Ian, I see on the flyer that Porch Fest Quincy has received, is it some grant money from the Mass Cultural Council?
Yeah, hey, that's been.
Oh, Walter?
Yeah, Walter's got that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so they gave us a grant originally when we first kind of got it going,
Yeah.
and then since then we've been reapplying to their festival funding. We get about $2,000 from them each year.
Excellent. Okay. What's that used for?
Signage, website, printing, all the different
T-shirts,
things. Yeah,
perhaps?
exactly.
Okay.
Pre-print.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and then we also fund the event by selling T-shirts
Yes.
as well. And
Do tell.
yeah, so that we've got T-shirts for sale on the website. They'll be for sale at
Okay.
different locations on the day of, and they're going to be for sale tonight at the beer release party that we can talk about as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
By the way.
yeah.
Getting to that.
As if we hadn't had enough already to.
That is last year's shirt?
I think this is maybe 3 years ago.
Okay. What color is
Yeah.
this year's?
This year is green with black print on it.
Okay. All right. See it on the website.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Beer. Ian, you want to talk about beer, I guess, right?
I mean, I'll talk about beers too, but Walter's point on everything here. So
Okay,
yeah, he
alright.
runs like the partnerships. He's running the sponsorships. So
So you're just the eye candy? Is that it?
yeah, and,
That was my job.
You want to trade?
Sure.
Break Rock Brewing is helping out?
Yeah, so once again, last year we did a collaboration with Break Rock Brewing,
Yeah.
and this year we're back at it again. We work with them on both selecting the beer type and sort of the approach towards brewing and its flavor. And this year is a Belgian wit beer, so think like a Castle Island White type of beer, comparable to that. I've already tried it; it's really good.
Okay.
And the portion of the proceeds.
I see no samples here.
Well, sorry, Joe.
You're gonna have to come
Yeah,
tonight.
you have to show up tonight. But yeah, a portion of the proceeds, Break Rock's been great.
Yeah.
They help promote the event, they help support the event, super partners. And so tonight we're having a beer release party where you can go down to Break Rock Brewing tonight in Marina Bay between 6 and 9, and you can try out the beer and buy your T-shirt while you're there and listen to Anthony Andronico Sr. Perform, who's
Yeah.
a longtime Porch Fest performer.
Super.
And we'll have a Blacks Creek barbecue there if you're hungry. So a nice program. Looking forward to it. So
Is it called Porch Fest Quincy Beer?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of fun. In addition to doing some minor input into the beer, just working on the creative for the label. The beer can's kind of cool.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and there's a couple of hidden things within the label. So because Porch Fest originated in Ithaca, New York in 2007, and we brought it to Quincy in 2016. On the label, you can find both the New York State bird as well as the Massachusetts black-capped chickadee.
Yeah.
And then this year we layered in both the New York State flower and the Massachusetts state flower as a little bit of an additional, just way to put our mark on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What's the New York State bird? Just
gosh, I can't
curiosity. All right.
Of course you had to ask.
Exactly.
Because I don't know either, obviously.
Well, you're gonna have to come and find it.
Find
okay?
it.
Yeah, it's escaping me.
All right, that's okay. Ian, for your part, how does the city help out Porch Fest?
So, the streets don't get shut down as we
Yeah.
talked about, but the police presence will be prevalent throughout the city. People have always been looked out for. So we just ask people to, be respectful of people's properties and the city as they normally would as they walk around in people's neighborhoods. But there will be, police around to help in some certain areas, especially where there's, high traffic for people to cross.
I'm just thinking, just very, matter-of-factly, trash receptacles. I mean, is that something that you consider or take care of?
Near the, certainly like in the public parks,
Yeah,
there, there exist, and then in places where there are food service, where some of the food trucks will be, there will be as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we've in the past also asked a lot of the porch hosts to put out a barrel
Good
in
idea,
front of
yeah.
their home,
Yeah.
and they've
Or
been
recycle
gracious
bin,
about doing
perhaps,
that.
yeah.
And the city's been great about going right after the event, in fact, on Sunday to, hit the parks and make sure they empty out all the barrels
Yes.
from there, and then they kind of drive around. And each Porch Fest host and volunteer also kind of walks the neighborhood a little bit.
Sure.
To, pick up
No
some
rain date, rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
So
We're from
hoping
New
for
England,
that,
Joe.
Yeah, deal with it.
Thanks, guys. Happy
Yeah.
Porch Fest.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome. Speaking of weather, we'll check it for you. The rest of the day today looks kind of like it does right now. Mix of sun and clouds. There's just a slight chance for a spot shower in the upper 80s this afternoon. The weekend looks so-so. Tomorrow's great. Sunday, not so much. And then, of course, early next week, we're back to nice weather again. Thanks to Ian Kane, Walter Hubley for joining us today from Porch Fest, Quincy.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching Monday here in the show. Folks from the Arc of the South Shore stopping by. Meantime, check our website, qatv.org. All of our latest programs, news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.